I think we just started a new segment. Let's talk about one other thing. And you talked about taking a flyer. How about some of these guys that were non-tendered this week? Among them, and you already mentioned this, Tyler, Pedro Alvarez. Bill alluded to him as well. 27 home runs, but a windmill at the plate. Chris Carter, the same thing. He'll hit him out of the park, but he'll strike out a ton. And then Greg Holland, Jack, is interesting. Here's a guy who has Tommy John. He won't even be part of anybody's plan in 2016, but he could be a huge part beyond that.
It's fascinating to me for what you just stated, but also for this reason. His agent is Scott Boras. So when Scott Boras talks to teams about Greg Holland, he's not going to talk about Tommy John surgery. He's not going to talk about his client missing the entire season. He is going to sell you on this guy was one of the best closers in baseball, helped get the Kansas City Royals to a World Series. What are you giving me for my client? I go back to a signing the Yankees had a few years ago with Andrew Bailey, where they signed him knowing that he was rehabbing, but it was a much lower money level deal. I don't think Scott Boras is suddenly going to sell Greg Holland cheap. I think he's selling him as a top-of-the-line closer. Someone will bite. I'm just not sure who.
Yeah, and it won't be a diamond in the rough here, Bill, but you're hoping that he is a semblance, at least, of what he was when he was at top of his game.
Yeah, I mean, he was a much better closer than Andrew Bailey was. But at the same time, you know, you're looking at a whole year that you're not going to have this guy, and when you do have him, you don't know what you're going to get. So it's a gamble. I agree with Jack. Boras is not going to settle for pittance for this guy, but I just can't see somebody really overpaying for a guy that they don't even know what they're going to get. I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas City brings him back in some sort of a situation with them. This is home.
Yeah, a little more of a sweetheart deal for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, best case, it works out like the Yankees with John Lieber way back when, where you rehab him on your own for a year, and then you have a nice season follow-up. But there's some interesting names on that list. I mean, Henderson Alvarez is the opening day starter last year for the Marlins. He had a no-hitter in his past, but that arm, I don't know if I'd want to touch that arm at this point. And Pedro Alvarez, of course, with the big power, too. So, it's interesting. There's always a few, maybe diamonds in the rough there that you might be able to pounce on. We all know David Ortiz was in that group too way back when. So it might be worth taking a risk. I think on an Alvarez, again, a windmill, a lot of swing and miss, a lot of power too.